Are there that many people making dumb financial decisions? I see all these people driving brand new BMWs, Teslas, etc., and the average car payment is now $720 per month according to recent figures. However, the average salary in the USA is $56,000. Are there that many people buying cars worth as much as their salary? I am earning just over six figures, and drive a fender-dented, hail-damaged, 2011 Honda Civic and want a base model $332,000 and am freaking out at the idea of monthly payments of $500 more. Yep. Most I know in my immediate family and circle are making dumb financial decisions. What's sad is that they are not even aware of that. I have a friend with a huge beautiful home and a brand new custom-ordered Tesla in the driveway. She carries a LV handbag and looks like she's super wealthy. She recently told me that she has $600,000 in debt, with only a small portion of that being her original mortgage. Credit cards, loans, equity lines. It's overwhelming to me. I'd love to get some insights on some of these people's finances. I mean, it's none of my business, and I'd certainly never ask since it's not appropriate, but I'd be fascinated to know. Are people making incredible amounts of money that I'm just not aware of, or do they ever have any real consequences for lots of debt that I'm just not seeing? Have they never had an emergency, or what would happen if they did? Who lives in some of these new apartments getting built near me, that cost twice what my mortgage costs, and why? What do they do? Looking rich versus actually being rich. Yes, there are. My sister is one of them. She went bankrupt and got a new car the next day. Her and her husband make nowhere near six figures and they drive fancy-ass cars and have huge birthday and holiday parties. They can barely pay their mortgage but live large on credit. It boils my blood sometimes when she complains about being broke. But I take a deep breath and remember that I'm debt-free besides my mortgage and I don't need half the things I own. Edit to add she's gone bankrupt 2x in the last 10 years. That to me is horrifying. The average salary in the USA is $56,000. This is only true because half the world's wealth is owned by the one, many of them in the USA. If you cut off anyone making above $1 million, the average is far lower. Median is at $35,000. People are buying ludicrously expensive things because buying a house is no longer possible. Instead of a house payment they rent with 3-4 people in a house with 2-3 rooms, which frees up income. This income is spent on nice cars, nice TVs, nice luxuries. Two of my brothers make well over $300,000 a year. I've never made more than $100,000 a year. I'm getting to retire at 59 as I have saved, invested and lived within my means. They have never met a dollar they haven't already spent. They do not have enough money for retirement. I'm actually moving to the Azores in part to get away from the whining disdain of people who live beyond their means. I neither have the time or the inclination to listen to people who can act like they are victimized by the economy and then sneer at any suggestions of how to address their economic stress. One of my good friends has owned multiple luxury cars. He loves them. I'm not sure how it adds up with his income and all of that factored in, but he's not rich. But I'd never judge or look down because his cars make him happy. Life is short. People struggle with different things and it's really just best not to judge how people are spending their money at the end of the day. Emo. The scary thing is, Gen Z has the highest income versus car payment. They are spending something like 15-20 of their income on car payments. Car payments are the greatest robber of future wealth. I bartend part-time at a fancy Italian restaurant. The place is good, but holy shit have they raised the prices a bunch over the last couple years. It's just way too overpriced. Anyway, about half the people that come in have a bunch of money, but the other half are just people that are horrible with their spending. People that make way less than me are coming in 2-3 times every week and dropping $1,200. It's crazy. Lol, most of them don't even box up their leftovers. What I think this sub forgets though is that being frugal isn't the only way to live. We all die one day, and you can't take the money with you. Some people just want to spend their money to enhance their life, and that's their decision if they think a new car is going to do that. Americans are not taught to be good consumers, how to budget, save, etc. As a whole. We live paycheck to paycheck, and if we get a payroll increase of 10 cents we go out and buy something for $1 and finance it. Oh, and we think tax refunds are the modern version of Christmas club accounts. You are honestly better off driving that Honda till it croaks. Cars are a superficial status symbol. Sure, you look really cool driving that brand new vehicle, but in all reality it's just a horrible investment. Chances are when you sell that car you're not going to get the money you paid for it back. Rule of thumb is whatever debt-to-income ratio you are setting aside and save, drastically affects your income and overall net worth. If you are making six figures with debt eating away at your savings, you're essentially aren't at six-figure like you think you are after taxes. Edit: this is for people who buy luxury cars without a plan to tackle other overlooked details other than the price tag, not at OP lol. Not much is affordable these days at any level, disappointed face. Consumerism is an epidemic. Is that a used Tesla? I would just be cautious with those. The whole no right to repair thing on Teslas irks me. I have a 2016 4Runner with 40k miles. Awful mileage, but I rarely drive and it should last another 20 years. Very happy I don't need to buy a car at these inflated prices. There are a lot of people who are functionally illiterate and innumerate. Also, if you are raised in poverty, you've very likely not had good financial role models to learn from. And even more unfortunately, middle and high schools very rarely offer financial courses or contract law courses. I would blame it less on stupidity and more on ignorance. I'll take my income and not waste on something like vehicles, vacations and savings. I bought my current car in 2017. It's a 2014 Honda Insight. I haggled them down from $14 to $12,000. I met with the woman in charge of financing. She said I was probably in the one of people who buy much less car than they can afford to pay for. The missus and I were both making six figures at the time. She said daily people were coming in with cash they'd taken out of their homes to pay for cars. I paid the car off quickly. The payments were $260 mo. It's not much, but it's all mine, and everything I would have spent on a car payment is now in savings and various investments. Yes, where I work my co-workers all have Teslas, BMWs, Mercedes etc., and a lot of them eat DoorDash for lunch every day too. And most of them make less than me and are much younger than me, like mid-20s. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee that's paid off and still works totally fine. The last thing I want is a car payment. 2 women in my office spent $1,600 each just on Starbucks alone last year. They added it up and only get it twice a week now. Why judge people? They can do what they want. Maybe it makes them happy. How does it affect you that they do this? It seems like the fact that these people exist improves the quality of life for many people on this sub. Because now they have people that they can feel superior to. I don't get this subreddit's obsession with so-called stealth wealth. Having a bunch of money and never using it doesn't help anyone. My mom's co-worker was talking shit about how my mom lives paycheck to paycheck. Both of them make six figures. This woman also flexes her Tesla and makes fun of my mom for driving a Honda Accord that's more than a decade old. She has a Tesla that costs $60K, it wasn't paid off and the car was totaled after her son drove it and got into a horrible accident. This person also works overtime. I find it very stupid to own a car you have to work overtime to pay off, and to also act like you're superior because you drive a Tesla is insane. Skull. Yes. My mom worked at a bank and she said the ones who looked rich were most often the ones deep in debt, and many people who drove older cars and didn't focus on flashy things, such as yourself, were the ones who were financially stable.